The rain had just stopped in Beijing, leaving behind a lingering chill in the air. Wang Yibo sat in the living room with his mother, sipping warm tea as the quiet of the evening settled in. It was an ordinary day, nothing unusual, until the doorbell rang. When Wang Yibo opened the door, time seemed to pause. Standing before him was Xiao Zhan, dressed in a long black coat and a soft grey scarf. His hair was slightly damp from the fog, his cheeks flushed from the cold. His smile was calm, yet captivating, and it took Wang Yibo several seconds to register what was happening. Xiao Zhan's presence, unexpected and stunning, felt like something out of a dream. "I couldn't say no to your cooking, Aunt Wang," Xiao Zhan said warmly, stepping inside with an ease that spoke of familiarity. But no one moved. Wang Yibo stared. His mother stood frozen. It wasn't just surprise, it was awe. The kind of awe reserved for witnessing something beautiful in its rawest, most natural state. Wang Yibo's mother blinked and broke the silence first. "You look like a prince from a fairy tale," she said with a small laugh, her voice filled with wonder. "Even more handsome than on screen." Xiao Zhan chuckled shyly, brushing off the compliment. "I didn't even fix my hair properly, Auntie. You're being too kind." Wang Yibo quietly closed the door behind him, trying to hide the pink creeping up his ears. He watched as Xiao Zhan removed his coat, folded it neatly, and walked into the living room as if he had always belonged there. But something about tonight felt different. There was a shift in the air, subtle, but unmistakable. The two of them had shared a past the world would never forget. Their explosive fame from the Untamed had linked their names forever, but in private, their bond had grown in quieter, more personal ways. After the series ended, rumors took over, claims that they had grown distant, that management had forced them apart, that their closeness was nothing but a marketing strategy. But the truth was never denied or confirmed. Only they knew what had lasted behind the scenes. And perhaps, what was reigniting now. Wang Yibo's mother moved swiftly into the kitchen, preparing a proper dinner now that a special guest had arrived. Xiao Zhan offered to help, and though she politely declined, he still followed her, chatting lightly and effortlessly. His presence brought energy to the house. He praised the food, joked about Wang Yibo's terrible sense of humor, and shared warm, effortless banter that made everything feel soft and familiar. During dinner, Wang Yibo found himself oddly quiet. Not because he didn't have things to say, but because he was busy observing. Xiao Zhan's eyes sparkled as he spoke. His laugh was genuine. The way he held chopsticks, the way he leaned toward his mother to listen attentively, it all made Wang Yibo feel something he couldn't name. At one point, his mother turned to Xiao Zhan and said, "If I were a few decades younger, I think I'd fall in love with you." The table erupted in laughter. Wang Yibo nearly choked. Xiao Zhan, red-faced, covered his face in embarrassment, but took it with good humor. "Auntie, don't tease me like that," he said, glancing sideways at Wang Yibo, who refused to make eye contact, cheeks burning. Later that evening, with the house quiet and the dishes cleared, the two of them sat on the balcony. A soft breeze carried the scent of wet pavement and jasmine from the backyard. The stars, dim but present, hovered gently above the city. "My mom asked about you," Wang Yibo said suddenly. Xiao Zhan turned to him. "When you went to the bathroom earlier, she asked how your face could look that flawless. She said you look better than a beauty app filter." Xiao Zhan laughed, tilting his head back. "You should have told her I'm practically married to skincare. 5 years of brand deals must have paid off." "She also asked if you were single," Wang Yibo added, half joking. "Well," Xiao Zhan said, meeting Yibo's gaze, "that depends on who's asking." The silence that followed was neither awkward nor tense. It was soft, full, thick with things left unsaid. They didn't need words. The way Wang Yibo shifted slightly closer. The way Xiao Zhan didn't move away. The way their eyes lingered. Everything was louder than speech. "Thanks for coming tonight," Wang Yibo said quietly. "Thanks for asking," Xiao Zhan replied, his voice equally low. "I'm glad you're still the same." "You too. Although," Xiao Zhan paused, "I think you smile more now." "That's probably your fault." When Xiao Zhan looked at him with a questioning expression, Wang Yibo just smiled. They stayed there until late, talking about nothing and everything, reminiscing, teasing, letting themselves simply exist in each other's company. No cameras, no scripts, just two people finding a familiar rhythm again. The next morning, Wang Yibo's mother rose early and headed to the living room. But what she saw made her stop in her tracks. Xiao Zhan was asleep on the couch, covered with a blanket. His head was resting against Wang Yibo's shoulder. Yibo, too, had fallen asleep, leaning just slightly towards Xiao Zhan, his expression peaceful. The television still played quietly, the last traces of a late-night show flickering on the screen. The air was filled with a stillness so serene, so intimate, that she didn't dare disturb it. She simply smiled and closed the door gently behind her. A few days later, fans began to notice clues. Xiao Zhan wore a sweater identical to one Wang Yibo had worn a few months ago. A live stream from Xiao Zhan featured a background plant eerily similar to one known to be in Wang Yibo's house. Even a brief voice, feminine and faint, was heard off camera, sounding suspiciously like Wang Yibo's mother. The fan base exploded. Theories flooded social media. Edits were made. Photos were compared. Did they finally reunite? Wang Yibo looks so happy lately, it must be him. I swear Xiao Zhan slept over. I feel it in my bones. Even Wang Yibo's mom is a fan of Xiao Zhan now. This is real. Neither Wang Yibo nor Xiao Zhan addressed the rumors. They didn't post anything, didn't deny anything. And in the world of celebrity, that kind of silence was more telling than any official statement. In truth, Xiao Zhan hadn't just visited a house. He had returned to a part of his life that felt like home. In that quiet house, he had brought laughter, light, and maybe even love. Perhaps, behind that closed living room door, something old had been reborn. And maybe, next time, it would be Wang Yibo's turn to visit Xiao Zhan's home. Because when Wang Yibo's mother later said, "Xiao Zhan, you should come over more often," it wasn't just hospitality. It was hope.